What is going on, everyone? MikeO back with another Mail Day recap, and it is truly the most wonderful time of the year. We have NFL regular season football going on 5 weeks into the season, and we have Major League Baseball's postseason. October baseball is great baseball. The games are riveting. The series are generally tight. Even if they end up in 2-0 sweeps, they feel tight. And I just love playoff baseball year in and year out, but it's of course extra special when my team, the Philadelphia Phillies, are involved. They are involved this year, and that's not something that happens all the time. I think the team has reached the postseason like 15, 16 times in 135, 140 years. So over the course of history, it hasn't happened a lot. Of course, with the expanded playoff field now, it should and hopefully will happen more and more frequently during the course of my life. I think this is the 8th time they've appeared in the postseason, so you stretch that over a lifespan. It's not very often. It's less than a quarter of your time on Earth, so it's not something you see every year. So when it does happen, you like to embrace it and enjoy every moment of it. And so far, so good. The Phils took out the Marlins in the wild card series, 2-0. Citizens Bank Park was absolutely rocking, absolutely incredible. I don't think there was another crowd that, at least on TV, because I wasn't able to attend the game, of course, I don't think there was another crowd that even came close. There were obviously some really good crowds, though, of course, one of them not being Tampa Bay. And I know there's some diehard Rays fans out there, and there's a handful of Rays fans in the community. But as a whole, I'm not speaking about any specific fans. There's going to be incredible fans in every fandom. That was an utter embarrassment. To not sell out a playoff game is a joke. To not even come close, like just nothing. It felt like spring training baseball. Like, what an embarrassment. I mean, I hope it's not too late to cancel those plans for a new stadium. And then, like, the stuff on Twitter, like the excuses, like, mind-numbing. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's for another time. Anyway, I have some stuff to show off. This is going to be kind of a cheap slab mail day. Got a few PSA slabs, a few SGC slabs. Also, the Phillies and the NLDS, ALDS are going on. Texas jumps out to a 2-0 lead over the Orioles. Not shocking. Surprising that the Orioles couldn't take one in Baltimore, but not surprising. The Orioles are just so young. Kind of hope they can salvage a game in Texas, but we'll see. Houston and the Twins are tied 1 apiece, so the Twins got one in Houston. That's obviously your goal. When you start off on the road, your goal is to win one. Arizona's already accomplished that. They're up 1-0 on the Dodgers, and the Phillies already accomplished that, taking Game 1 in Atlanta. So we'll see. The Phillies off to a good start, but we will just see. Game 2 is tonight. Absolutely looking forward to it. Zach Wheeler, Max Fried, and feel great. Getting a game, and if they go back home tied 1-1, I'll feel great, because that's your ultimate goal, is to win one in Atlanta and then kind of take back that home field advantage. But the Braves are obviously a fantastic team, great offense this year. They played really well at Citizens Bank Park this year. I think they were 7-1 against the Phillies on the road. So you're not taking anything for granted. Hopefully, with the Phils can just continue to play well, and they obviously did it. Game 1, they had some timely hitting offensively. The pitching was outstanding, and the defense was outstanding. And one mini rant, and we will show off cards, and this is a rant that most won't care about, but Topps Now, what a joke. Pretty bad. I mean, we're talking about postseason cards, and again, it's Topps Now cards. They're going to sell, 500, 1,000 of them, but each team in Game 1 got 2 cards each. Phils only got 1. Philadelphia's a really big card market. You would think they would have had a card for the Phils pitching staff shutting out the Braves. That was the first time the Braves have been shut out at home since 2021. And defensively, Trey Turner, if you guys missed the game, had an incredible double play, which stopped, momentum the Braves were gaining, as it looked like they were about to possibly score a run and continue get a big inning going. Incredible double play. One of the better defensive plays in Phillies postseason history. I know myself and fellow Phillies fans who collect the Tops Now stuff were like, well, that's a lock. That's a lock, Tops Now card. And all they got was the one for a Harper home run. So, oh well, 5 minutes of talking baseball. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let's take a look at some cards. So we'll start off with a couple non-slabbed cards. We got this Clubhouse Collection Bryce Harper relic from Topps Heritage. Topps Heritage relics are fairly nice, probably a little underrated, generally fairly cheap. They don't go for a bunch. This is from 2023, and this was actually a gift from my buddy Big Scott 35. So make sure you check out Scott's channel. He sent this along as a little bonus with some cards that we'll be getting graded over at SGC soon. So Scott, always appreciate a Bryce Harper card. I know you probably couldn't wait to get the Phillies one out of your collection as soon as possible. All right, a couple Tops Now. Speaking of Tops Now, a couple Tops Now cards that came in. This is a Trey Turner 10-game RBI streak, ties all-time club record. Trey Turner, of course, has had a sensational second half of the season. Really struggled mightily in the first half, but has been very, very good in the second half. And then here's another Tops Now. This is actually partially from a game I was at. Phils ended up losing that game to the Marlins. But Phillies infielder Bryson Stott, fourth inning, second base swipe in Friday's game was the 3,000th stolen base recorded across Major League Baseball this season. It's the most steals in a single campaign since 2012. So, I was going to get it because there was a Phillies player involved, even though they have an image of his with no face there. It's almost like a Panini card too, no Phillies stuff. But I was at that game, so regardless, even if it would have been a Marlins player who stole the base, I would have picked it up. I always pick up cards that are produced from specific games I was at. So this is a cool one. Acuna, Carroll, and Bryson Stott, three guys who are currently still alive in the National League playoff field. So, cool Tops Now. And then we got the PSA and the SGC slabs. So, we've got a PSA Mint 9 here of Spencer Howard. This is from 2021 Finest Flashbacks. It's a Prism Refractor. Prism Refractors are serial numbered out of 35. And the only reason I really pick this up is because I collect the Finest Flashbacks, and I kind of pick up as many of the parallels as I can get, specifically at, good prices. Obviously, there's a handful of players I will pay up for, but guys like Spencer Howard or a few others, I'm only going to buy if they're bargains. I think I won this slab for a couple dollars on eBay, so figured whatever. If you see it for, one of these listed for $1.99 or something, I'm going to toss that $5-6 bid, and if I win it, great, and if not, then so be it. Spencer Howard, total bust. He was one of the Phillies' top pitching prospects, really struggled over the course of 2 seasons with the Phillies, ended up being traded to Texas for some relief pitching help, Ian Kennedy, and struggled mightily there as well. This season, I think he got into one game maybe with Texas, and then was in the minors and ended up getting cut. Ended up with the Yankees farm team, got cut from there. So I would say his career is probably over. I mean, you never know. He could be one of those guys who pitches internationally for a while and then gets another shot, maybe figures it out in the future. Definitely has a good arm, but just can't seem to put it together. All right, other PSA pickups. This is a 2022 Topps Chrome Update. Sapphire Edition, Philly Phenoms, featuring Rhys Hoskins and Bryce Harper, 2 guys who have excelled in the postseason for the Phillies over the last 2 years. Obviously, Hoskins not playing this year. He could theoretically, if the Phillies were to advance a couple more rounds, he could theoretically play, but I still don't know that that's expected. I think it's something that is not out of the realm of possibility, but you'd have to consider whether it's worth it or not due to roster flexibility. But Hoskins, regardless, he's a free agent after this season, has had a great career with the Phillies. I mean, you can't expect, not an early draft pick. When you develop a player like that and he helps produce on the field the way he has, I mean, that's incredible. And then to be part of, some postseason run is huge as well. Won a little group of these, lost out on a few, won a few. Just some Jim Thome PSA Gem Mint 10s, just some cool Hall of Fame Phillies cards. 2003 SP Authentic Gem 10. Was able to pick these up again cheap. Back to the days where, from time to time you can get some really good auction wins cheap. Just some cool cards that are neat for the collection. Like, I'm a huge fan of Allen and Ginter. Just looks neat. Not a card that's ever going to, have substantial value or anything, but just a cool card that I like and enjoy. So, Gem 10, 2012, Allen and Ginter, Jim Thome. And then the final PSA is What's in the Name, Allen and Ginter, again from 2012, James Howard Thome. I like the little mini Ginter image on there. Again, Gem Mint 10. Just a small little kind of bio there. So, pretty cool. I like it. Nice pickup there. And then a few SGC pickups as well. Got a 1933 Tattoo Orbit R305 Richard Bartell. These Tattoo Orbits are really nice cards. I mean, this one's obviously beat up. Just a nice... It's not, I guess, really a card. I suppose it is. But it's a 1.5. It's fair. It has a ton of creases. But I like the image. I love seeing the old uniforms in color. Got the stadium in the background. And, of course, the information in the back. 5'9", 150 pounds. Infielder, Richard Bartell. So I was able to snag that one at a good price. Picked up this 2020 Topps Future Stars Club, Bryce Harper. That was from the April club that year. I don't think they even continued this club. But it is a Mint 9. Nice looking card. It's got the Topps Kids kind of look to it. Borders, old school. With the old school uniform. So Mint 9 on the Harper. Then picked up an SGC Fine 9 on the 2006 Bowman Chrome Refractor of Chase Utley. Sitting there covering first base or playing first base. He did play a handful of games at first base for the Phillies. Obviously, primarily a second baseman. I'm sure he DH'd a few times during interleague play, but there were a couple seasons where he played 5 to 10 games at first base. So that is a Mint 9 on the Chase Utley Refractor. And final pickup. This is the Titans insert from 2023 Topps Chrome. It's Bryce Harper. Pretty cool looking little insert set. Get a great aerial image of the stadiums. And then, of course, a superimposed picture of one of the top players. And was able to grab this one like dirt cheap. That's one of the... So I like when SGC's been doing these specials. I'll send in cards, the Chrome specials, to get graded, and that's great. When you get cards graded for $9. But also a lot of people will get a lot of extra stuff graded, and if they don't get the grades they want and there's an influx of it on eBay, sometimes you can get great prices on auctions. So I was able to grab this. So a 9.5 on the Bryce Harper Titans insert, and he has been a Titan with the Phillies. Just absolutely fantastic pickup for the Phillies in free agency, and a nice pickup for the collection. It's just hard to believe there were people with hot takes when he signed the contract that it was, like, I heard someone on YouTube say, it's the worst contract in baseball history. Really? Interesting statement before the guy had ever played a game. So far it's been incredible. It's a lengthy contract, and we'll see what the back end looks like. But if you get enough out of the front end of the contract, you don't really worry too much about the back end of the contract. So happy to pick that up. Excited for more playoff baseball. Yeah, obviously super excited for the Phillies games, but also excited for the other games. I actually sort of have more fun watching the other games because you might have some rooting interest, but you're not living and dying with every pitch. When you're watching your team in the playoffs, I feel like it's almost there's obviously fun moments along the way, but it's also kind of torturous as well. Sometimes some of these games, it's fun once it's over. Not that you're excited for it to end, the run to end. You're just like on edge for 3 hours sometimes. So looking forward to it. Appreciate you guys watching. Comment below. Let me know what you think of the pickups, the thoughts, and I will talk to you next time. Have a great one.